From a presidential perspective, is there any possibility that the president would end up pardoning his son?
No.
Well,
I just said no.
President Biden ignoring questions about Hunter Biden's second indictment on Friday. The White House still claiming that there are no plans to pardon the first son if he is in fact convicted. As the House prepares to vote to formalize the Biden impeachment inquiry this week, Wisconsin Senator Ron Johnson says that banks filed at least 6 suspicious activity reports which flagged Joe Biden's home address. Newly released IRS whistleblower testimony now reveals Special Agent Gary Shapley told lawmakers he wanted to investigate Joe Biden for benefiting from Hunter's crimes, saying that in every investigation they had worked on, they would follow those leads to the father, Joe Biden, the big guy, but they were not allowed to do so. Joining me right now is Missouri Congressman Mark Alford. He's a member of the House Armed Services Committee. Congressman, thanks very much for joining us this morning. Do you believe your membership has the votes to formalize this impeachment inquiry?
Well, I think we do. You know, we've been pushing for this since this summer. Kevin McCarthy agreed to have impeachment proceedings or an inquiry, informal inquiry that started in September. And now we're going to formalize this with House Res 917. It's going to strengthen the subpoena power. It's going to formalize these hearings to get to the facts that we need to lead, I believe, eventually to the impeachment of the most compromised president in U.S. history.
So tell us about this week and how this week is going to play out. I know you all are getting set to leave for the holidays at some point, but what's most important on your agenda this week?
Well, look, we've got to get this thing done. Hunter Biden is due before James Comer in a private deposition behind closed doors on Wednesday. That's going to be very important testimony, an extensive 2-hour-long deposition, if not longer than that. It's going to be much more than these quick little clips that you see in the committee room where you have 5 minutes for one side, 5 minutes for the other. They're going to get to the bottom of where all this money is going. What are all these LLCs set up for, and how much money has flowed into the Biden crime family?
So that's on the agenda for Wednesday, and then we're waiting to find out when the vote to impeach the impeachment inquiry comes to the floor. Is that Tuesday or Thursday?
That'll be up to Steve Scalise and Speaker Johnson on that, a little bit above my pay grade.
All of this has the Biden family pushing back. I mean, Hunter Biden basically cursed out House Republicans over the weekend on a podcast. He said that you and your colleagues are targeting him to destroy his father's presidency. We have it on tape. Watch this.
What they're trying to do is they're trying to kill me, knowing that it will be a pain greater than my father could be able to handle.
Congressman, your reaction?
Well, look, he's brought this upon himself. He is not the victim in all this. He is a perpetrator on the American people. Channeling this money, being a representative on boards of Burisma and other entities where he has brought money back into the big guy and really compromised now the office of the presidency. So don't play the victim, Hunter Biden. You have done this to yourself. You're going to answer for the crimes, not just in court, but before the American people, I believe, before these two committees when it's all done.
Well, I mean, it's incredible to me that the mainstream media is all in lockstep with Trump being a dictator. Meanwhile, it was Biden who went in and weaponized the DOJ and the FBI and went in and did a raid on the former president's home and went in and started to act as if he was some kind of a ruler, blowing off the Supreme Court, even when it comes to student debt. Your thoughts on where this presidency is going? I mean, do you think Joe Biden will be the nominee when all is said and done here?
Well, I don't think he's going to have the mental nor physical capacity to end up being the nominee. He's hanging on by a thread at this point. If you look at video from just 6 months ago, his decline is rapid and it's disturbing. And for these Democrats to prop him up to be the nominee, I think is a disjustice or a disservice to him, his family, and the American people. But if he is ending up as the nominee, so be it. Again, I think he's the most corrupt president we have had, and the facts will bear this out. If we can get to the truth on the House floor and in these committees.
This is just extraordinary, truly. Meanwhile, the response to the anti-Semitism has been weak, in my view. The University of Pennsylvania president, Liz McGill, and the school's Board of Trustees chairman both have resigned at this point right now. McGill and the presidents of Harvard and MIT refusing to answer a simple question that calling for the genocide of Jews violates their school's code of conduct. New York Congresswoman Elise Stefanik tweeted this out: 1 down, 2 to go. Congressman, I know you signed that letter demanding all 3 of these presidents resign. Where are we on that? Your thoughts?
Well, look, it's just disgraceful. How can you come before a House committee and equivocate on the genocide, the brutal mass destruction of Jewish people in Israel by this Hamas terrorist group? They are merely butchers. You've got to call truth for what it is. And these people have exchanged the truth for a lie. They could not come right out and say that it was genocide. And what world do we live in where leaders of higher education who are training our young people and our young minds to not be able to call it for what it is? It is disturbing. It is terrorism, Islamic terrorism. It is genocide. And that's the truth. And they should all be fired. Yeah, well, it's just extraordinary that they couldn't answer the simple question. I want to ask you about Ukraine's President Zelensky visiting D.C. this week. He's going to be meeting with President Biden and House Speaker Mike Johnson as Republican senators demand stricter border policy if they want more money to Ukraine. Tucson Border Patrol sector encountered nearly 19,000 illegals in just 1 week. Last week, we had one day where there were 12,000 apprehensions in one day in Texas. The Biden administration told lawmakers an average of 5,000 illegal immigrants are currently being released into the country every single day. We have this video to show you from Lukeville, Arizona. It shows Border Patrol having migrants pick up garbage at a border crossing spot that has been completely trashed due to all of the crossings. Congressman, what is going on at our southern border, and what are you going to do about it? Well, look, it's complete chaos, and we've known this since before Joe Biden even got into office. With a wink and a nod, he has welcomed now counting almost 10 million illegal aliens into our country. He's corrupted the asylum process. We have passed H.R. 2, which tightens up the asylum process and gets back to the Remain in Mexico policy, where people are not coming over illegally into our country and staying here and taxpayers having to pay for it. The number one thing that people in my district, and I think throughout the country, are saying it is the border. We must secure our border. Yeah. And for Zelensky to come over to our country now and to ask for more money with us not attaching some sort of border security to it would be a disjustice to the American people. So you're going to hold the line and not agree to any Ukraine funding until the border sees policy change? I certainly am. Okay. Look, we've given $113 billion already to Ukraine. Yeah. Joe Biden has slow rolled out and not allow them to win the war. We must secure our border. That is the number one priority right now. Congressman, thanks very much. We'll be watching all of this week. Mark Alford joining us this morning. Thank you, sir.